Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, held a virtual online meeting with the Lajna Imaila Australia's National Amla on Saturday. His Holiness presided over the meeting from his office in Islamabad, Tilford, whilst the Amla representatives were gathered at the Baitul Huda Mosque complex in the Greater Sydney region. During the meeting, His Holiness outlined the various responsibilities assigned to the office holders and gave guidance on improving the activities of their departments. His Holiness said it was crucial to embed Islamic values in Ahmadi Muslim children from a young age.
शुरू में ही बच्चियों को बताएं कि तुम्हारा लिबास जो है हयादार लिबास होना चाहिए। जब वो बड़ी हों और लजना में शामिल हों तो फिर उनको पता होना चाहिए हयादार लिबास के साथ हिजाब का हुक्म भी अल्लाह ताला का ही है, कुरान करीम में ही है। तो जब बचपन से ट्रेनिंग देंगी उनको तो तभी वो लजना में आके और मयार कबीर की नासरात बन के हयादार लिबास पहनेंगी। उनको बताएं बचपन में कि भी उम्र छोटी है, लेकिन आन सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया कि हया ईमान का हिस्सा है, इसलिए तुम लोग हयादार लिबास पहनो। फिर जब बड़ी हों हयादार लिबास के साथ हिजाब भी हो। जब हिजाब होता है तो हिजाब खुद असर डाल रहा होता है बहुत सारी बुराइयों से और मिक्सिंग अप से, मर्दों के साथ बातें करने से और उनके साथ दोस्तियां लगाने से। यूनिवर्सिटी कॉलेज में जो लड़कियां जाती हैं उनको खुद ही एहसास पैदा हो रहा होता है कि हमारा हिजाब जो है इसका हमने पास करना है। तो तरबियत अगर बचपन से आप कर दें नासरात की उम्र में तो लजना के सारे मसाइल हल हो जाते हैं, लजना को कभी शिकायत नहीं होती। ठीक है, इसलिए बहुत बड़ा काम है जो नासरात का है, तो भी इसे तरबियत कर लें तो बड़ी अच्छी बात है। क्योंकि जब कॉलेज में यूनिवर्सिटी में जाएंगी लड़कियां तब उनको पता होना चाहिए कि हम क्या हैं। फिर उनको पता होना चाहिए कि अहमदियत क्या चीज़ है। बहुत सारी बच्चियों को यही नहीं पता, कुरान भी पढ़ा देती हैं, हदीस भी पढ़ा देती हैं, लेकिन उनको यही नहीं पता कि हज़रत मसीह मौद अलैहिस्सलाम क्यों आए। जब हमारे पास कुरान भी है, हमारे पास हदीस भी है, हमारे पास आखिरी रसूल भी है सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, तो मसीह मौद की ज़रूरत क्या है। ये बातें बचपन से ही पता होनी चाहिए। हज़रत मसीह मौद आए तो क्यों आए, किस लिए आए, और इसलिए आए कि ये भी हज़रत सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की पेशगोई थी, उसको पूरा करने आए। तो ये चीज़ें जो हैं ये बचपन से जहनों में होनी चाहिए, और जब ये बुनियादी चीज़ें होंगी तो तभी वो आगे बढ़ेंगे। बड़े बड़े मसाइल तो सीख ही लेते हैं लोग, हैं। बुनियादी चीज़ें सिखा दें, उनको ये पता हो कि मेरा ईमान क्या है, मैं क्यों अहमदी हूँ, क्या मेरी ज़िम्मेदारियाँ हैं, और उसके बाद फिर देखें आपकी अगली नस्ल जो लजना की आएगी वो उससे बहुत बेहतर होगी जो मौजूदा नस्ल है लजना की।
During the meeting, beloved Hazur, may Allah be his helper, highlighted the importance of working as a team and training others.
खुद काम करना और अच्छा काम करना कोई कमाल की बात नहीं है, ये आपकी एक पर्सनल क्वालिटी है। ठीक है, खुद काम कर लिया, अच्छा काम कर लिया, अच्छी रिपोर्टें दे दी, बहुत अच्छा किया, लेकिन इसके साथ अगर आपने अपनी टीम नहीं बनाई, अपनी सेकंड लाइन नहीं बनाई जो आपके काम को बाद में संभाल सके, तो इसका मतलब आपने कुछ भी नहीं किया। खुद काम करना असल काम नहीं है। असल काम यह है कि इस काम को जारी रखने के लिए अपनी एक टीम बनाना और एक सेकंड लाइन का तैयार करना, ताकि जब आपकी उम्र बड़ी हो जाए, मैं नहीं कहता आप बड़ी हो चुकी हैं उम्र की, लेकिन जब आपकी उम्र बड़ी हो जाए तो फिर आप कम से कम दूसरी काम करने वाली आपको मिल सकें। तो हर जो यहाँ लजना सेक्रेटरी बैठी है उसका काम ये ना देखे कि मेरी उम्र 40 साल है या 45 साल है या 35 साल है या 50 साल है। आपने फिर भी अपनी एक सेकंड लाइन तैयार करनी है। ठीक है जी। और यही एहसास ये सदर साहिबा को सारी जो मजालिस हैं आपकी मुल्क में उनको अंदर पैदा करना चाहिए, और उनकी सेक्रेटरियान को और सदरात को भी कहना चाहिए, ताकि काम संभालने वालियाँ आपको आइंदा मिलती चली जाएं, जिनको सिस्टम का भी पता हो। काम सिर्फ सर पे पड़ता है तो आदमी संभाल ही लेता है, तो ऐसा कोई मसला नहीं है। जब सर पे काम पड़ता है संभाल लेता है, आपके पास लाए अमल है, आपके पास दस्तूर असासी है, आप काम कर लेंगी। लेकिन अगर आप पहले से सिस्टम में इन्वॉल्व हैं तो आप उस काम को बेहतर तरीके से संभाल सकेंगी जब नई जिम्मेदारी आप पे पड़ेगी।
Hazur also explained the real purpose underlying the efforts of Ahmadi Muslims to spread Islam's teachings.
رپورٹیں لینے کے لیے بیعتیں نہیں کرانی، اس لیے تبلیغ کرنی ہے کہ ہمیں ہمدردی ہے ان لوگوں سے، ان کو اللہ تعالیٰ کے قریب لائیں، اور اس ہمدردی کا تقاضا ہے کہ ہم ان کو اسلام کا صحیح پیغام پہنچائیں، اور پھر اس کا تقاضا ساتھ یہ بھی ہے کہ اپنے آپ کو بھی امپروو کریں اور اپنا بھی اللہ سے تعلق پیدا کریں۔ سیکرٹری تبلیغ کا اپنا براہ راست اللہ سے تعلق ہونا چاہیے، ٹھیک ہے؟
جی بالکل،
اللہ تعالیٰ آپ کو توفیق دے، ٹھیک؟
جزاک اللہ۔
آگے
حضور میرا سوال ہے کہ ہم اپنی میٹنگز میں اٹینڈنس کس طرح بڑھا سکتے ہیں؟
بس پیچھے پڑے رہیں، پیار سے سمجھاتے رہیں، عہدے دار بن کے لوگوں کے پیچھے نہ پڑیں، بڑی بہن بن کے بنیں، چھوٹی بہن بن کے پڑھیں، اماں بن کے پیچھے پڑے رہیں اور آ جائیں گے لوگ۔ مستقل کام ہے ہمارا کہنا، میٹنگ میں دلچسپی کے پروگرام بھی رکھا کریں نا، انہی کو انوالو کریں، جو نہیں آتی انہی سے تقریر کروا دیا کریں تو آپ ہی آ جائیں گی۔
The following day, a second virtual event took place. This time, it was a turn of Mauritius's Wakfeno girls, who enjoyed an hour-long class with beloved Hazur.
My question today is, our missionaries gain an incomparable amount of knowledge by attending Jamia Ahmadiyya. As an Ahmadi girl, I would also like to gain such knowledge. Can Hazur please advise on how can we also attain such level of knowledge?
Those countries who are now well established, they have started Aisha Diniyat class for girls and Hafizun also. So in their classes, girls are also getting education with regards to their religious knowledge, and also at the same time they are memorizing the Holy Quran and becoming Hafza. So when Mauritius Jamaat is well established, although it is established, but still lacking the resources. So when you have enough resources, I hope some training courses will also be started for girls here in the Mauritius, because it is difficult to send you out to any of the international Jamia. And also at the same time, there is no international Jamia Ahmadiyya for girls. So for the time being, you have to increase your knowledge by reading yourself and struggling hard for obtaining that knowledge. So I'm sorry that for the time being we cannot make any arrangement for you. But still, you can increase your knowledge by reading the books of the Prophet Messiah al-Islam and the other Jamaati literature.
One girl asked how children should save themselves from a negative reaction when their parents punished them.
You see, first thing is that your parents should not punish you on small things. They should politely and kindly advise you that you should do this and do that and behave well. And if you are too much overactive and disobeying all the instructions of your parents and putting them in trouble, then sometimes they punish you. If you are not doing your studies and even doing some bad things, then obviously you will be punished. But on small petty things, they should not do like this. Even Hazrat Masih Maud has said that I don't like that parents punish their children on small and petty things. Even they should tolerate each and everything of their children and pray for them, that Allah Ta'ala reform them and remove their shortcomings and the problems they have. So first of all, parents should pray to Allah Ta'ala that Allah Ta'ala make their children well behaved, good, pious, and bring them among those people who are pious and obeying the instructions and commandments of Allah Ta'ala. This is the first thing. Secondly, I don't like the parents should punish the girls. They should punish boys more than the girls. If they do like this, then you will be happy, right? So when you are well behaved, nobody will scold you. If you are following all the commandments of Allah Ta'ala, nothing will happen like this. So if you are only blaming your parents, you should also see yourself. Are you obeying all the commandments of Allah? And even after that, if your parents are still not happy with you, then we can say the parents are not good, but children are good. Right? When you become a parent, then you should use this lesson for your children. Right? One day, inshallah, you will be mother. When you are mother, then you take care of your children in a proper way so that they become the good asset for the community. Huh?
Yes. My question is, normally we do our personal dua in sajda. However, if we forgot to ask something specific and that we have just finished namaz, do we have the right to do dua after saying salam?
The prayers actually shows that you are in the presence of Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala has told you that when you are in prayers, you are close to me. And especially when you are in the posture of sajda, when you say Assalamu alaikum, and then after that you raise your hand, that is nothing. That is a tradition evolved by non-Ahmadis. But we say that whenever we are in the presence of Allah Ta'ala, we should say everything to Him. Not that when we leave His house or when we leave His company, then we ask prayer for Him. Although Allah Ta'ala is present everywhere, and cannot say that we have left Allah Ta'ala or Allah Ta'ala is not present while we are out of the atmosphere of the prayer. But at the same time, there is a special time given to us by Allah Ta'ala that when you are offering your prayer, then you seek my help and say whatever you like. When you forget one thing, then this is why you have 5 daily prayers. Then the next prayer you can ask the same thing from Allah Ta'ala. Even in another prayer, there are 8 sajdas. And in Zohar prayer, there are 20 sajdas. In Fajr prayer, there are 8 sajdas, right? So, if you forget something in one prayer, then in the next prayer you can seek Allah's help, right?
Jazakallah Huzur.
My question is, how does the Nusrat Jahan scheme work exactly?
Nusrat Jahan scheme. You see, when Khalifatul Masih Salis, the third Khalifa, during his visit in the Gambia, I think Allah Ta'ala put this thing in his heart that he should start a scheme in which the poor people of Africa should be catered for. And he started that scheme, and he gave that scheme the name Nusrat Jahan Leap Forward Scheme. So that scheme is to help the poor people of Africa in their education and to help the poor people of Africa with regards to their health problems. And this is why he started opening hospitals and schools in African countries. This is Nusrat Jahan scheme. And if you become teacher or doctor, you can be sent to any of the African countries. Even Mauritius is also among African countries, but conditions are better than quite a number of other African countries which need you and need your help. Right?
Okay, Jazakallah.
It is said that in Hadith that a person who drowns becomes a shaheed. Why is it so, and does it apply to everybody?
You see, the person who dies of stomach illness is also shaheed, and there are so many other categories of shaheeds. And it might be because while drowning, he might be struggling hard to save his life and he could not. He might be seeking Allah's help and forgiveness, but ultimately he drowned and died. So Allah Ta'ala may forgive him, but the main thing is that he should be a mu'min. He should be the person who is obeying the commandments of Allah and is a good believer. Not that a kafir who does not believe in Allah Ta'ala and then while drowning he says, "Oh Allah, save me," then no, he is not a shaheed. The condition is if you are a good believer and then if you have drowned in the river or water, then of course Allah Ta'ala says, yes, you are a shaheed. But the condition is that you have to be a good believer. This is what the Holy Prophet ﷺ has said.
Drugs is being spread in our school to a large extent nowadays. Some students are even selling drugs at school. What advice can Huzur give us to protect ourselves and our children against this?
Normally, it is everywhere in the world nowadays. This is a big mafia which is causing all this problem. They are utilizing school children to sell their drugs. They give them small amount of drug in the beginning free of cost. And when they get addicted, then they ask them, okay, we shall give you these things free of cost if you give us some favor and sell these things among your fellow students or other people. The society is now completely corrupted. There are no morals in the society. They don't care what they are doing with the children of the nation. Everybody is now selfish. So we should try to let our children know that these are the bad things, and we should avoid the company of those students or those people who are doing these bad jobs. We have to be very vigilant, keep eye on those people, and then whenever you see they are doing this, admonish them. And main thing is to pray for your children that they are not involved in such type of habits. So it's very much difficult. Even governments are against it. So if you come to know about some person who is destroying the life of your children, then you can inform the concerned authorities to take action against those people. Be watchful with regards to the behavior of children and their day-to-day activities. And then pray for them as well, that they are not involved in such type of habits. Okay?
When we have attained a certain spiritual level, what can we do to ensure that we persevere from there and not fall again due to weaknesses?
You see, for that you do istighfar continuously. You seek Allah's help and fervently pray to Him that once you have attained this status, you should not lose this status. And do istighfar continuously and offer 5 times daily prayers. Allah Ta'ala says that daily prayers are the best source of keeping you away and keeping you safe from the bad deeds of the worldly societies. So you seek Allah's help and offer 5 times daily prayers. And while you are praying, pray fervently with regards to your present status which you have attained. And always remember, whenever any bad thing comes into your mind, before you start thinking of doing that thing, that Allah Ta'ala is watching over you. So this is how you can save yourself. And at the same time, as I have said, you do istighfar. Right?
Jazakallah.
My question is, in the Holy Quran, Allah Ta'ala said, "And we sent you not, but a mercy for all worlds." So my question is, if there are other creatures on other planets, how are they benefiting from the Holy Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam?
You see, we can say there might be some life in some other universes and planets where we do not have access as yet. But Allah Ta'ala has said that the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is Rahmatul Lil Alameen. So, he is mercy for mankind, for known world or the known universe habitation, right? When other part of the universe or some other universes come to know about this world, if they have connection with us and the message of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam reaches them, then he will also be mercy for those people. And we shall have to behave well towards those people, not that we destroy them or usurp their rights or do not behave well with them. But at present, he is the mercy for this world which we know. And if there are some other worlds, then, and whenever these matches reach there, he will also be mercy for those people. Okay, now time is over. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.